She wrote Azzi Fudd on her mirror every morning, just to remind herself who she was becoming. No one in her family knew what it meant. Not her mom, who thought basketball was just a hobby. Not her ex, who said dreams were for people without real bills. Not even her therapist, who once asked, "And who is that?" But for Leena, the name was everything. It was fuel. It was identity. It was the fire she lit every morning before facing a world that wanted her small. And for the past 274 days, it was the only thing that kept her from breaking. If you find value in real stories, told with clarity and truth, make sure to subscribe to stay informed with Black Grace Diaries. She was 29, a mother of one, and by all accounts, stuck. Stuck in a job that drained her, stuck in a relationship that shamed her, stuck in a body that no longer felt like hers. But that name, Azzi Fudd, stayed. On lipstick-streaked mirrors, on Post-its under car visors, on scribbles inside her phone's Notes app. It wasn't obsession, it was projection. She didn't want to be Azzi. She wanted to believe someone like Azzi could live inside her too. What no one knew was she had already made a decision. The alarm went off at 4:47 a.m. Same as yesterday, same as every day since January 1st, the day she found a grainy YouTube highlight reel titled Azzi Fudd, Unstoppable. Leena didn't hit snooze. She sat up. The house was still. Her daughter was asleep in the next room, stuffed giraffe curled under one arm. Her ex was long gone, another casualty of unmet expectations and shrinking ambition. She poured coffee into the chipped WNBA mug she stole from college, laced up shoes that had more holes than tread, and stepped into the cold. The old gym behind the elementary school was technically off limits, but the janitor had a soft spot for women with fire in their eyes. She ran drills alone, layups, corner shots, suicide sprints until her lungs burned. Each bounce echoed louder in the empty court. Each shot missed felt like proof she wasn't there yet. But she kept going. Because if she stopped, what then? She'd already missed her chance at D1, got pregnant sophomore year, lost her scholarship, lost herself. The worst part wasn't giving up the dream. It was watching herself become the person who stopped dreaming. Until Azzi. That video changed something, not because of the game, but because of the poise, the purpose, the defiance. It whispered, "You're not done." And Leena believed it. What she didn't know was someone else had started watching her too. It started with a DM, from an account with no profile picture, just a handle, WBB Scout East. "Been seeing your morning runs. You still got it." She stared at the screen like it had grown teeth. Who was this? A troll? Her ex playing games? She didn't respond. The next morning, it came again. "Your footwork on the left is sharper than your right. Fix your pivot or you'll stress your knee." She blinked. That wasn't shade. That was scouting. On day 3, she replied, "Who is this?" 10 minutes later, someone who remembers what fire looks like. Keep going. She didn't tell anyone, not even her best friend Kay, not even the janitor, who started leaving the side door open and the lights on without being asked. She started filming her drills, just 15-second clips, just enough to study her own posture, timing, follow through, and she noticed it too. Her left was tighter, her back straighter, her breath more focused. What began as survival was morphing into structure. On day 300, the scout wrote, "You're ready to try out?" She nearly dropped her phone. "Try out? For what?" "What do you mean?" she typed. A minute passed. Then, Pro-Am, DC, 2 months, women who don't quit. She laughed. Out loud. Alone, in the gym. Like the idea itself was so absurd it hurt. And yet, she didn't delete the message. What she didn't know was that someone had already submitted her name. Leena stared at the message for hours. Pro-Am. It felt too big for her. Too young, too late, too not me. She hadn't told anyone about the D1 scholarship she lost, not even Kay. To everyone else, she just took a break from ball, as if dreams could be paused like music. But that message, women who don't quit, it scratched at something deep, something feral, something she had buried under bills, bad dates, and biting her tongue. That night, she sat on the edge of the tub, still in her sports bra, water running in the sink, staring at her reflection. Not the mirror where she wrote Azzi's name, the other one, the one that didn't lie. She whispered it. Why not me? The next morning, she told Kay. You're gonna do what? Kay merely dropped her coffee. It's just a tryout, Pro-Am and DC. Kay blinked. Girl, I love you, but you haven't played in a game in years. I've been practicing every day. Practicing ain't competing. You sure this isn't a setup? I don't know. But I know what it feels like to quit. I want to know what it feels like to try again. Kay didn't say anything for a while. Then she nodded. You show up, I'm showing up with you. And just like that, it became real. They started planning, finding an affordable train ticket, borrowing Kay's cousin's gear, Googling what to expect at a Pro-Am tryout. That night, she opened her notes app. She scrolled past all the to-do lists, all the don't forget groceries, and wrote something new. I am not past my prime. I am just now tapping into it. What she didn't know was that someone had already printed her highlight reel. Union Station smelled like old concrete and missed chances.
Kay nudged her. You breathing like you're about to marry the court. I kind of am, Leena whispered. The ride to DC was quiet. Kay played music low, but Leena wasn't listening. Her eyes traced the blur of trees outside while her mind ran every worst-case scenario on loop. What if no one shows up? What if she freezes? What if her knee gives out? But louder than those voices was that whisper from months ago. You're not done. The gym was bigger than she expected, brighter, louder, real. Women of all ages and builds were stretching, shooting, running drills like they belonged there. Leena stood near the wall, trying not to fold in on herself, until she saw her name on the roster, typed. Line 14. Leena Brooks, G. She got next, a woman called. Tall, braided, no nonsense. Leena stepped up. The first shot, airball. She heard someone chuckle. The second, rim. Third, net. Fourth, net again. She stopped listening, stopped watching, and started moving. Muscle memory took over, old instincts, quiet fire. The rhythm that never truly left. When the scrimmage started, she didn't dominate, but she didn't disappear. She boxed out. She passed clean. She dove for a loose ball that no one else wanted. And when the buzzer sounded, she heard it. Who's number 14? No one laughed this time. What she didn't know was someone had written her name down again. 2 days later, the email arrived. Subject line, WBB Pro-Am, congratulations. She read it 5 times before she let herself smile. She'd made the second round. Tryout wasn't the end. It was just the first door. Kay screamed when she found out. Leena didn't. She just sat down, knees weak from something deeper than joy. Validation had never felt so silent. Attached to the email was a contact form, a waiver, and a list of names. And one stood out. Sean Keller, assistant coach, Team Victory. She blinked. Sean Keller. He'd been a walk-on at Georgetown back in her sophomore year. He coached summer leagues, ran clinics. He was legit. She clicked his profile. And there, beneath his bio, was a video link. Highlight: Leena Brooks tryout reel. She gasped. It wasn't just clips. It was a full edit. Clean cuts, angles, slow motion. Someone had been filming. Someone had believed enough to cut a reel. Her heart raced. She texted Kay, "You didn't?" Kay replied instantly, "Swear on my wigs I didn't." She leaned back in her chair, staring at the screen. Somebody saw her, framed her, showed the world the version of herself she only hoped was real. That night, she wrote something new on the mirror, not Azzi's name, her own. Leena F. Brooks, Pro-Am guard. What she didn't know was that Coach Keller had seen her before. Once, in college, in a game she didn't even finish, and he'd been waiting for her to come back ever since. The first team practice was on a rainy Tuesday. Leena arrived 20 minutes early, heart pounding, palms sweating through her sleeves. The gym echoed with bouncing balls and sneakers squeaking on hardwood, but it was the silence in her own chest that unnerved her most. She scanned the court. Tall women, fast women, women with D1 tattoos and overseas contracts. No one looked like they had anything to prove, except her. Coach Keller walked in like he'd been doing this for decades. Clipboard, whistle, calm fire. Team Victory. Let's work. The drills were brutal. 3-man weaves at full speed, no breaks between sets, footwork that felt like dance, only harder and with fewer second chances. Leena kept up, sort of, until the third scrimmage when she missed 2 rotations, then fumbled a pass, then blew a wide-open layup. Coach didn't yell. Worse, he blew the whistle, looked at her, and moved on. Invisible. In the locker room, she sat alone, towel over her head, regret pooling behind her ribs. "Rough day?" a voice said. It was the tall woman from earlier, the one who had barked out rotations like a floor general. "Name's Tony. You from D1? Leena nodded. "I was. Once. Long time ago." Tony nodded. "Doesn't matter where you were. Just matters if you show up tomorrow." That night, Leena didn't cry. She ran sprints in the dark park until her legs buckled. Then she whispered to herself, out loud, "Tomorrow, I earn it." What she didn't know was Coach Keller had marked her name again, but not with a question mark, with a star. The first scrimmage game was scheduled on a Friday night. Leena hadn't told her mom, or her daughter, or anyone at work. Not yet. She needed to know first, for herself, that she belonged. The gym was packed, bleachers full, real referees, a scoreboard that ticked too fast, jerseys pressed and numbered. Hers, number 14. Coach Keller gathered them in a tight circle before tip-off. Effort over ego. We don't need heroes. We need heart. Leena sat the first quarter, watched Tony hit 3 corner jumpers, watched the team gel like they'd known each other since AAU. Then Keller nodded. "Brooks, you're in." Her legs felt like bricks as she stepped onto the hardwood, the lights brighter, the noise sharper. First play, she missed a screen. Second, she caught an elbow on a rebound. Third, turnover. She looked at the bench, Keller didn't blink. Then the ball came loose near half court. A scramble. A foot race. Leena dove, flat on her stomach. Snatched it. Rolled. Passed. Tony caught it. Drove. Scored. The bench erupted. Leena lay there for an extra beat, chest heaving, floor cool against her face. She wasn't perfect, but she was present. In the second half, something shifted. She sank 2 jumpers, picked a pocket, hustled for every loose ball like her life was stitched to it. They won by 6. Keller didn't smile, but he clapped. Once. And after the game, a small girl in the stands pointed at her and said, "She's my favorite." Leena turned around. It was her daughter, with her mom, and a homemade sign, "Number 14, that's my mama." What she didn't know was someone had filmed the whole game, and it was already going viral. The video hit 80,000 views overnight. It wasn't flashy, no edits, just a phone clip of number 14 diving on the hardwood like it was a medal, then standing up, sweaty, breathless, eyes locked on the court. The caption read, "Mother, hustler, hooper, number 14. By morning, her inbox was flooded. Nike reposted it. A women's sports podcast messaged asking for an interview. Her college coach, the one who never called after she left, sent a DM. "Proud of you, still rooting." But Leena didn't check any of it at first. She was in the gym. Same routine, same cracked mug, same mirror, now with a new line written beneath her name. "You earned this. Keep becoming." Keller pulled her aside before their second scrimmage. He said, "Recruiters might reach out. Ignore the noise. Do the work." She nodded. "I'm not here to trend. I'm here to play." In the locker room, Tony tossed her a wristband. She said, "Wore this in my first game overseas. Didn't score a damn point, but I remembered why I started." Leena slipped it on. And this time when her name was called, she didn't hesitate. She stepped onto the court not as a comeback, not as a mom trying to prove something, not as the girl who lost a scholarship, but as the woman who built herself again, brick by sweaty brick. After the game, her daughter ran up and hugged her knees. She said, "You didn't fall today." Leena grinned. "That's because I flew instead." Later that night, she checked her phone. One message stood out. From Azzi Fudd. "Just watch the clip. You remind me of why I play." Leena stared at the screen, then smiled. She didn't need to write Azzi's name on her mirror anymore, because now someone else was writing Leena's. If this story moved you or opened your eyes, don't forget to hit like, leave a comment, and share this report with someone who needs to see it.